I've just got big dick energy and I'm not scared to show it.
Now, you're the founder and creative director of Who is Elijah?
When I started Who is Elijah in my garage, I just wanted to make as much or a little bit more than what my salary was. You know, I want to be $1 billion company. 2 weeks ago, we did $1 million in one day. Then when that happens, I'm like, well, fuck it, let's make $1 billion. So inspired by so many founders, and, you know, I watch what they do and I, you know, take inspiration and incorporate it into Who is Elijah.
But the thing I love is like your willingness to do whatever it takes. Where does that stem from? Like, what drives you to do that stuff?
I didn't have the nicest childhood, I think. Biological mum died when I was 4 in a car accident. I learnt survival quite young, and I think I never wanted to depend on anyone, so I just became an independent bitch. Just trying new things and just do it. Don't be scared. What's the worst that could happen? Even when I smelt that fragrance at Coachella that started this whole thing, it wasn't even, I want to start a business. It was just like this spark inside of me.
Often have that moment where you smell something and it kind of transports you back in time. If I opened the first Who is Elijah perfume, where does it take you?
Welcome to Chew the Fat. I'm absolutely obsessed with high performance and business. So I sit down with incredible guests and we talk about what it takes to be at the top. This is part of my mission to raise $1 million for children's cancer by running a cookbook called Eat with Purpose. I've got one ask for you. Share the content. The bigger the audience, the bigger the impact. Let's get stuck in. Part of my mission, the reason for the Chew the Fat podcast is to raise $1 million for charity for the Eat with Purpose cookbook. And today, I told you I went rogue this morning. I had this like moment of like mad scientistry at 4 a.m. And so what I made you is a steak with miso butter and a pickled ginger cabbage slaw.
I love steak.
Let's get stuck in. Now I always ask one question. And yours is going to be different. I'm just going to feel it out in a moment. Take me to the first meal that you and your husband Adam shared together.
Okay, this is so funny that you asked this because I have a different memory of our first date and he has a different one. I think it was Watson's Bay Hotel and it was like just like sliders and tacos, but he thinks it's something else and I can't remember, so I don't know.
I believe you.
I'll stick with some sort of alcohol.
Well, I noticed you had a big smile on your face, so I like that. We'll finish up here and we'll get stuck into the interview.
Hi.
Raquel Bouris, welcome to Chew the Fat.
Thank you for feeding me.
I hope you enjoyed.
It was delicious.
Now, you're the founder and creative director of Who is Elijah? What I'd love to do is, could you boil down a couple of key moments in your childhood that made you the person you are today?
I didn't have the nicest childhood, I think. And it's not something I'll go into and talk about publicly. I mean, it's not that bad. But, my biological mum died when I was 4 in a car accident. I was in the car, didn't die. And I think I learnt survival quite young. And I think I never wanted to depend on anyone. So I just became an independent bitch.
I love that you just said that.
Yeah.
And what's like the through line like between that and today? What are the things do you think those like shaped you to, create an incredible business you have?
I mean, I never thought that I would be a business owner. And even when I smelt that fragrance at Coachella that started this whole thing, it wasn't even, I want to start a business. It was, I don't know, it was just like this spark inside of me. But I always wanted to work and I was always very ambitious. Always been driven by money. I mean, I love money because I think I love the freedom that money gives to you. So I think there's been a lot of like stepping stones to get to where I've come to. But, everyone says it stems from childhood and, sometimes it's good to have a shit childhood because it gets you somewhere special.
One of the things I was reflecting on this morning at 4 a.m. when you were inside my ear as I was listening to all the podcasts is the thing I just love about your story, and I touched on it, we won't have to kind of dive into them too much because you've shared it, but the thing I love is like your willingness to do whatever it takes, whether it be spilling the perfume on the floor, inside a business, or whether it be handing out perfume in the business that you want to get. You do things that I think it's not a cost to them, but there's a bit of like sometimes people will be embarrassed at it. And it's like, I just love that willingness. Where does that stem from? Like, what drives you to do that stuff?
I mean, we were laughing at before. I've just got big dick energy and I'm not scared to show it. I mean, I just got this, and it's not like a bratty mentality. I think it's just like, you know, the fragrance industry. I mean, look at my competition. I did not have multi-billion-dollar, you know, budgets backing me. So from day one, I've always known that I've had to do things differently. And I mean, I'm just scrolling for inspiration on Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere, and sort of taking like bits and pieces from what other people have done maybe even 50 years ago and sort of like modernizing it and doing it again today. And I think the first time I did it, I just got addicted to it. So now we're just constantly thinking of new crazy things to do that, you know, don't cost hardly anything. And people really love it. And I think it's something that I'm like becoming known for now, even more so than the perfumes. It's like these like cool things that we're doing.
That's so cool. I'm sure you're not going to share all your secrets, but you know, one of the things you mentioned, you're going to move to UK, be closer to, you know, this expansion, and be able to do more guerrilla marketing. Do you just like sit in a room sometimes and go like, what's an outrageous thing I can do to achieve what I want to achieve? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, like I've got a really cool team. We've got a small team, but we've got like a really good team that they're on board with it. They want to do like the cool, crazy things too. And, you know, someone might see something on Instagram and we'll just, you know, we have 3 sort of marketing meetings a week and we'll just all come together and brainstorm and try and think of something cool. And two of the girls from my team are moving to London with us.
Oh, wow.
So we're all going together. So we like straight off the bat, we can do like cool, crazy things. And again, it's just like, that's not costing us anything to do these things. And, you know, we're lucky that the product that we have, the little 2 ml samples that we have, they don't cost too much money for us to get them into people's hands. And it's a lot cheaper than paying, you know, an influencer to talk about it.
It's really interesting, right? When you just said that 2 of the people are moving with you. It's such a big life decision to make. And I think immediately what I hear is you've done an incredible job to be able to inspire those around you and they're willing to come on the journey with you. What do you think it is about what you guys are doing that does that to the team members?
It sounds so corny, but we have become this like weird little family. Like we hang out with our work girls, including Adam, way more than probably our other friends outside of work. And I think, you know, a lot of them have been there from the beginning and they see the vision and they see where this company is going to go and the brand is going to go and they want to be a part of it. And we also have that like actual friendship with them as well. So, I mean, we love and care about them and, you know, we, what's the word? What's the word when you give something?
Generous?
We're generous. There's another word, but, you know, we're very generous to them and, you know, they're very generous with us, with their time and, you know, they love the company just as much as us. So I think it's, they want to be a part of the journey as well.
With vision, it's interesting you mentioned that. I just did a piece of content last week about vision. And one of the things I noticed with some of the advisory I do for businesses is there's a clear distinction between those that have outlined what true success looks like what's the thing we're all striving towards and those that haven't. Is that something that came naturally to you in the beginning, like thinking kind of these big grand ideas, or it's something that is shaped and changed as you've gone along?
It's been gradual, I think. I mean, like when I started Who Was Elijah in my garage, I just wanted to make as much or a little bit more than what my salary was. I think my salary was like 85 or 90,000 at the time because I just didn't want to work anymore, like for men, like those men.
Fuck those men.
It's not even that. It was just like, I don't know. I think without knowing, I knew inside that there was something more for me in store. And like, you know, I was a hard worker and I was a good worker, but I think I started listening to podcasts at that point and, you know, like why be a slave to someone else and work so hard when you can just do it for your own and, you know, work for yourself basically. But I think it has been very gradual. Now I'm like my dreams and goals, well, not even dreams, they're goals because they're going to happen, are humongous. And it definitely wasn't that day one. They keep growing.
How big are they? Yeah. What can you share with us?
Yeah, I just like I want to be $1 billion company. And if you told me that 3 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, right. Like I'll be lucky to make like $10 million. But you know, like 2 weeks ago, we did $1 million in one day, and it's like I never thought that could happen. So then when that happens, I'm like, well, fuck it, let's make $1 billion. And you know, I've got Adam by my side, and I know the 2 of us together can do it. And you know, we're starting to get reached out by these really big companies and, you know, hedge funds, I think that's what you call them.
Yeah, right. That's a super interesting take. Are you eating right now? Do you want to eat better? Chew the Fat podcast is brought to you by the Eat with Purpose cookbook. It's available now and it's part of my mission to raise $1 million for children's cancer. Get it from eatwithpurpose.net, and I want you to let me know when you're snacking, because you'd be snacking good. Let's get back to the show.
And people are interested in acquiring Who is Elijah and buying in. And it's like, it's very flattering, and it's not something we want to do right now, but it's something that we will do in the next couple of years, definitely. And I think that's what will put us on that whole other level.
I love that so much, Raquel. I love, there's not heaps of people that dream really, really big. And I just love celebrating that, because like when you said the word $1 billion company, I just got like shivers. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, how good? Because it's like, business is hard. And I love to start with a position like, why not? Why not? Why not me? Like, why not this? And you do it for the right reasons. It's exciting. And I think I already can feel the energy that the team would feel along that journey. Share with me, like, what do you think businesses who start with like a product-based business like yourself, what do they get wrong when they first enter?
Oh, I got everything wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I think there's so many factors there. I'll talk about what we did wrong. I didn't even focus on e-com to start with. I just went straight into B2B or wholesale. So I didn't focus on building the brand. So I think if I could go back in time, I would have built the brand from day one and focused on e-com as well. I don't know, there's so much. We've made so many mistakes. I think I didn't start with a perfect product. The fragrance itself has always been really good quality, but I wish I should start bringing to podcasts like my original box that we started with. It was like a $2 box that I got from Pack Queen in Melbourne, and I just like folded it myself, stamped it, put tissue paper in it, labeled it, no ingredients on the packaging. I don't know how I didn't get into trouble. So I do believe in like, don't wait for perfect. But I think there's the fragrance itself, in my opinion, was perfect. So I think that's what kept us going. But everything else was not perfect. Like my first e-com photos were just iPhone photos on white tissue paper, like so like blurry. But I don't know if that would work now though. That was 6 and a bit years ago. I don't think you could do that now. I would love to start a business now because I feel like I would like nail it.
Okay, there's two things I just picked up which I really like there. Number one is this wrestle with perfection. Regardless of a product-led business, I see this as a commonality across so many things, where people have a perceived view of what perfection is and they're trying to get there before they launch. The reality is once you launch, the market will determine what is good and you can react from that. Yeah. But the other one, which is really interesting, is this idea that but one element was perfect. And I think that's really cool and really interesting is like, you may not have everything right, but as long as you have one of the ingredients right, you will be able to like iterate everything that's around it. Yeah. And that thing was strong enough to, to clearly the market responded very well to you.
Yes, thank God.
What do you reckon the hardest thing you've had to go through in this journey to date has been?
I think all the financial aspect of it, like we really fucked up, but we fixed it, thank God. But like this year's been really tough. But I think, and it was just like past mistakes caught up to us. We got to a point where we had like $500,000 owing to us at every given time from our like wholesalers, like mostly our independents. And it would have been almost better if we just didn't even sell to them. But because we had paid for the product, paid for the staff to, manufacture it and sent it out, because they weren't paying for us, we then had to go and get these like short-term, like, Shopify loans and things like that to keep the business running, which I thought was fine at the start, but it was not fine because you're constantly just paying back. And then we got into this vicious cycle of borrowing money to just keep the company afloat, where it's like, well, those people just need to give us our money. So that like went on for a while and we fixed that now. But I just think all the financial mistakes, I think one thing that I would do if I was starting out now would be really truly understand a P&L, which sounds so stupid now because it's so simple to understand, but I think just reaching out to people and getting someone to really explain it. I couldn't even tell you what my profit margin was for the first 2 years.
It's so common.
Yeah.
I still encounter this all the time with businesses. They're like, reasonably significant, and they don't have like quickly off the top of their head their numbers, like something as simple as profit.
Yeah.
I think it's, I'm not a believer in know everything and every detail about your business and trying to like micromanage, but there's certain aspects that you should know really quickly because they help you define like what's the right next decision.
Yeah.
And if you don't know like the profitability, it's really hard to know what to do.
How do you make a decision?
How do you do it?
Yeah. And we were just making decisions. Like I was taking the team to Coachella the last 4 years and like, that cost $50,000-$60,000 each time. And we weren't making any money from it. Like it was so stupid. But I just thought it would help the brand. But just like little things, I think we've got like an MBA of business from this year now. And I think people really love when Adam and I go on podcasts because we say all the bad stuff that we have done. I had a lady DM me a couple of weeks ago saying that she was in tears listening to my podcast because she finally felt normal and like not like hearing that like glamorized version of a business, because it's not glamorous. I mean, it can be, but like it's not. And I feel like, we're going into year 7 now and I feel like we've made every mistake and now we're just so excited to just like and like grow at a nice steady pace.
How did it make you feel when you got that message?
I got goosebumps. Like I was really happy. I was really proud of myself. And I think like those little things really like, I don't want to say keep me going. Like a lot of other things keep me going, but I think it really inspires me to do more of this and to talk more and share more. And it's just like almost makes those hard days easier.
100%.
Yeah.
In business we have, we always have some kind of fuel, like the thing that gets you to the next step. I think there's a bit of a change. I'm probably putting words in your mouth. You can tell me if you're right or wrong. Like as you start to grow and you get to different spots in your business, the fuel changes. And one of the things I shared with you, off this chat, and I want to share to the audience is the thing that I'm so inspired about e-com in Australia is like how many gals there are just crushing it, absolutely crushing it. We've been running the founders table, getting all these businesses together. And one of the things is, we ask the revenue that they're doing. And like, I am just mind blown. And some of these girls are like 100% ownership, doing 20 million, 10 million, 15 million, 30 million. I'm just like, it's so cool. And so I kind of bring it back to that thought, the thought is like, I think you're in that really unique spot where you would be so inspiring to not only just everybody, but also specifically like a young gal knowing like there's someone who's like not that much older than me, dare I say potentially the same age, and she's out there doing these amazing things. And I love, that's why I'm really passionate about personal brand, because yes, there is customers, yes, there's all these things, but the ability to inspire other people around you that feel kind of close to who you are. I think it's special to let's call it the community of business. Yeah,
and I've had a lot of mostly girls reach out to me and they've seen the Raquel brand, not a brand, but the Raquel brand, or like heard me somewhere and been inspired by the story, and then go and buy Who is Elijah and then fall in love with the product. So I think it is important to sort of do both. I think and working on my personal brand has been so much fun. And it's not like an influencer brand. It's just, Raquel, which is like really cool. And it's weird, like almost I go anywhere now and someone will like stop me. Like yesterday I went to the beach with Adam and we're just walking and this lady looked at me and goes, "I love your perfume." And then we stood and talked to her for like 5 minutes or so, but it happens all the time now and it's kind of crazy.
I love that.
It's cool though.
It's so good. Why is it fun? So like, one of the things, there still hasn't been kind of there's lots of people building personal brands, but there's still so many founders that are scared of it. And so I'm on a mission to like get them to do it because it's so crazy once you get to that tipping point. Help us inspire the audience. Why is it fun? Like what have you found through the process?
I used to hate it as well. I was so shy. And then just gradually, filming yourself talking on video sometimes is so cringe, but it's the best performing content that we have for Who's, or not always, but definitely high up there. I think just like speaking about it authentically. I think when I used to try and force myself to speak about something. Not that it wasn't true, but I was sort of forcing it. It didn't feel authentic. And then when I just went fuck it, I'll just literally just talk what I'm doing now. It just feels so natural. And now you can put a camera in my face and I'll just talk and forget that it's there. And I think like just showing like the true behind the scenes of who is Elijah, like that really had put us on the map, I think, because it's very unique in Australia. And, you know, showing like the employees behind the brand, like we get messages of people asking like, you know, who's packing my order and things like
that's
that.
cool.
So, and like, you know, we've got a good team and, you know, we have like 99% females at Who is Elijah except for Adam and my brother. So I think it's cool to show that, and people want to see and we're also showing where the product is made and how we feel it. And that has evolved so much throughout the journey. It used to be by hand, and now, you know, we went and invested in this like big machine. And
I saw that video. It's
so
sweet.
Cool. So cool. So like, I think that's like, people think that's really cool.
I love it. And apart from, I guess, the obvious, which is the customer, have you found any other tangible benefits of the process of doing a personal brand?
I think it's just like help build the brand. Like I feel like the Who's Elijah brand and the Raquel brand are sort of like coincide together, and they're like, you know, 2-for-1 deal. Yeah. I think it's just like helped grow the brand. And actually with retail, so a part of the reason why I'm moving to the UK is because the retailers that we're starting to talk to and work with, a big part of the appeal at the moment are founder-led brands, and especially female founded. And so they want me there to go into the stores and, you know, talk about it and do like masterclasses and do the sampling. So I think that has really helped us seal some deals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we love deals.
We love deals. We are here to celebrate deals, Raquel. I love that. What advice would you give to that, you know, that younger female who's looking to make that jump and start a business?
Just do it. Just do it. Reach out to some people. I mean, I answer every DM, and I think there's so many. I've DM'd so many people and asked for help, and, you know, 8 times out of 10 I get it. And that's been from the beginning, not even just now. I mean, I get so much inspiration and knowledge from podcasts, and I've, you know, day one of Who is Elijah, I was listening to 5 podcasts a day and over and over and over again, because I feel like you listen to a podcast and like you forget something. So I think you know, knowledge is power. So like just constantly learning. And, you know, be inspired by other people. It might not even be the same product, but like I'm so inspired by so many, you know, male and female founders. And, you know, I watch what they do and I sort of like, you know, take inspiration and incorporate it into Who is Elijah and what can we do that's similar, or just trying new things. And just do it. Don't be scared. What's the worst that could happen?
That's right. What's the worst thing can happen is actually a really important through line.
Yeah.
Because often what happens is where you are today is your baseline. And if you make a leap to do something, provided you don't mortgage your house, you can always come back to your baseline.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You know what's really interesting about smell is you often have that moment where you smell something and it kind of transports you back in time. If I opened the first Who is Elijah perfume and I got you to close your eyes and you smell it, where does it take you?
So funny. That takes me to this like little lab that I sat in when I first smelt it with my first perfumer, who actually lied to me and wasn't a perfumer. He was getting it made by someone else. So that's an important thing. Know who your suppliers are. But that's where it takes me back to. But it also fills me with happiness, because that is, as soon as I smelt it, I instantly knew like that was the fragrance that I wanted to launch Who is Elijah with. And then we launched it like 4 months later.
Wow.
So it takes me back to those like really fun, exciting, like startup days that I filmed nothing. So I hate myself for like never filming anything like and documenting it. But yeah, it takes me back to that first moment of like almost like an aha moment, I think.
When you first launched, you know, you've shared the journey, but like, what was the feeling for you? Was there like a lot of nerves? Was a lot of anticipation? Like, what's that? Can you kind of remember the feeling of going into it?
I wasn't nervous. I think I was just excited and like ready. And that's like, everyone will tell you this about me. I'm just like, I'm a yesterday person. So like nothing is like planned for next year. It's always yesterday. I think I was just really excited and just like full of belief that it was going to be something. No doubt.
I love that. You know, one of the things about Who is Elijah is you guys are quite specific with, you know, your audience. And I think what's really important when it comes to business, it doesn't matter which business, is like you kind of really need to focus in on like, who is it that we're speaking to? You know, when we're doing our brand, our marketing. Can you share me some of the insights, like when you're thinking about your, you know, 20 to 35 category, what is the learning lessons you've had with talking to that specific audience?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been the best. I mean, I think I treat Who's Elijah like I'm talking to people like myself, I think. And Adam always tells me, if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one.
People say to not take yourself too seriously. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Over here, we take everything seriously. The Eat With Purpose cookbook is out now at eatwithpurpose.net. Get cooking.
But then I look at our like data and I'm seeing girls and guys from 18 to 60-year-olds. And I'm like, well, we obviously are talking to everyone. So I don't know what that answer is. But I think, after this, I'm going on TVSN. And that's like, the demographic of that is like a bit older.
What is that demographic?
It's a bit older. It's about, 45 plus.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just being authentic. And I think we're obviously doing something right, but I think also like people my age might be buying it for their moms, but then the mums start following our journey, and they probably, I don't know, as a mum feel like proud of this, young girl that is doing what she's doing. But yeah, I don't know. I still haven't figured that out.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't just go on a wild tangent of making things up. Well, Frank, here's the very specific science that we use.
I know.
I think that's why people like you, Raquel. Authentic and honest. Has there ever been like a value or a belief that you've had to let go of in order to let your business grow?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've changed too much. I've definitely learnt, I've definitely matured. I started this at 23. People management is something that I'm not naturally good at. Adam is very good at that, so it's great. I think but that is something that I really, really want to work on, because I think it's important. Luckily, my team loves me because sometimes I can be hard to work with. But there's nothing that I think that I've had to let go of. Maybe I should. Maybe we should dial in the team.
yeah, calling the team right now. What's 10 things Raquel should let go of? It's interesting, right? I think about, there's this saying, it's like, what got us here won't get us there.
Yeah.
And if you had to think about where you are today and that $1 billion ambition, is there anything that stands out to you like, this is where I need to either level up or change? Adam
and I actually talk about this a lot. I'm very bad at wellness. I don't go to the gym. I have no me time. I probably party too much on the weekend. So I'm going into London. I'm going into I don't know if elevate to that next level is the right thing, but sort of put myself into that $1 billion person mindset, which I think I need to step into that wellness era and take better care of myself. And I think just be in my thoughts more, give myself time to actually sit in silence with my thoughts. I'm constantly surrounded by people. I've got 2 little kids. I wake up in the morning to a little 2-year-old in my head. I go to bed with a foot stuck in my head, and it's not Adam's, it's my 5-year-old's. And then I go to work and I'm surrounded by people. So I think I'm really craving me time, and I'm not a spiritual person, but I don't know, I need to go on a retreat or something. And I think I need to give myself time to think about that next version of myself and who I want that to be, because I think I am ready for a change. It's like a therapy session.
Yeah, I know. I like this. I'll send you an invoice later. Yeah. So, okay. And I'm starting to, the more we sit together, the more I realize I can see exactly why you're inspiring, Raquel, because here we are, we're crushing it, we're making a huge business, and then you get transported and realize, and there's this 2-year-old and there's a 5-year-old and there's a foot in the face. There's a lot going on. And I can see why you would resonate with so many audiences, because for the young gals, it's she's just there in terms of in terms of age, and then for the elder mums and stuff, wow, how inspiring. And I can see all of these through lines, and I'm starting, it's getting so clear in my mind.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I want to talk a bit about, hopefully if this is helpful for you, or if not for the audience, if not, just everybody tell me to shut up. This idea about thinking more. And there's been a shift post our business into kind of the last 2 years. So I stepped down in July this year. Yep. And I think those first 10 years of business, it's just like there's lots of crazy shit that's happening all the time. And what happens is essentially like you have inputs, either talking to people on the phone, deals, this, that, plus you've got family all the time. And sometimes we can make decisions really, really quickly because we feel we need to. The thing I've been reflecting on a lot lately is like celebrating thinking time and celebrating like creating space to like let your thoughts run wild. Like, I don't know about you, but like sometimes for me, it's like between walking to somewhere or like going to the bathroom is like where I get my best thoughts is because like that's the one time in life where you have no inputs. And so like one of the things I've been doing at the moment is like learning about like the psychological principles of creativity and like how you can expand creativity in your mind. And one of the things it talks about is creating constraints in your creativity. So what this mad discussion is essentially if you go like, okay, when we think about, let's say, the next steps next year, often we think about it in like a linear fashion, which is like, what do we have available to us? What's our next move? Blah, 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 blah. And you kind of continuously like sitting in the same train of thought. Where the psychological principles of creativity talks about creating constraints, whether they be on time or expanding constraints. So for example, it's like, if I only had a month to get to $1 billion company, what would I do differently?
So much.
If I only had 10 years, what would I do differently?
Yeah. Okay.
Or if I, I want to be, you already have that big thought, which is like, we want to be $1 billion company, what would we do differently? The other one might be like, okay, we only have 1 year left to do Who is Elijah? What would we do differently? And these different constraints, what happens is essentially by putting yourself in the shoes of that moment, you create these like different kinds of thinking. And on those fringes comes like magic. And then you can take that and you bring it back to like, okay, what is available to me? And then you move forward.
Yeah, okay.
And so like after learning this, it's like, it's really interesting. I've started to, essentially like take moments in time and like stress test my thinking. Have you ever heard of a guy called Rick Rubin?
No.
And so Rick Rubin's like considered like the master of creativity. And so he works with like rappers and all these musicians and stuff. He doesn't know how to play an instrument, I don't think, but he just helps them be more creative. And so it's really interesting that you talk about that, and hopefully my sharing helps you in some way, shape or form.
Yeah. And I mean, I can be really creative, but it's like you just don't have time for it sometimes. Right. And it's like, I feel like I got into a point probably like mostly last year and a little bit into this year where I just said to Adam, like, I just need to like be hands off on the business operations, because I just stopped making perfumes. I stopped thinking of cool things, and like our revenue started going down. And then I just said that, like, can you just take over? And I just want to be creative director and, brand. And that has made the world of difference. I'm still obviously know what's going on in the business. But ever since that happened, and Adam comes home and he looks so stressed and he's gone so grey because of it. But he's the best, and like he's my best friend. He's the best business partner, but he has allowed me to go and do just like focus on my strengths as well. But I think the next step is just really giving myself some time to just be in my thoughts. And I think I just need like alone time sometimes. And like, I think I need a little bit more structure in my life. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. You know what I love, Raquel? And I had the biggest smile on my face when you were just talking there. I was sitting exactly here. Adam was sitting exactly there. And we were talking, and the subject got onto like, what's it like working with Raquel? And his face just like lights up, his eyes start twinkling. And the exact same thing happened to you just then as you started to talk about your best friend.
Love that man.
It's so special. What is it like working with Adam?
Oh, he's so cool. I love him. I tease him. He's so cute. No, he's just the best. And he was born to be a CEO. He was born to do exactly what he's doing, and so proud of him. And, nothing is ever too hard for him. He will, a problem will arise and he'll like make it his, like, he won't give up until like it's solved. And, we work so well together. And I think because it was harder when I was sort of like, when we were kind of working on the same things together, because we were both just like agitated at the same thing, not at each other, but at the same problem. But then as soon as we separated that, it's like, it's just perfect. We've got the same goal. Like a lot of people ask like, how can you work together? And it's like, I can't imagine it the other way around. It's like, we're both working towards the same goal every day. And yes, we talk about work a lot, but it's like, it's exciting. But if like, you know, he had his own business and I had who was Elijah, or vice versa, like it would be so hard because he's trying to do his own thing. I'm trying to do my own thing. And it would just be a nightmare. I don't know. I just think it's so much easier. But then I know other people and I'm like, oh, fuck, you guys could never work together. But no, we just, he's just the best.
Oh, I love it so much. It's so good. I just brings the biggest smile on my face. Seeing both of you just like, you know, I've known you only for a small period of time, but like it's the love is so evident and it warms my heart up so much. You found that, you know, people talk about work-life balance. I think you found the work-life harmony, which is like the thing you're striving towards gives you energy and then you get to share in on it. You know, rather than like the thing is like, I fucking hate coming to work every day and like we both hate it.
Or like trying to like, oh, like I've got to be here and this thing, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm overseas all the time. So it just wouldn't have worked if we didn't work together. But I also don't think the company would, or it definitely wouldn't be as big as what it is without Adam there. Give credit where credit's due.
I love it. What's the question about your brand, your business or you, Raquel, that people don't often ask?
That's a good question. That. I don't know, actually. I've never been asked about my childhood. That was the first one. I don't know. I feel like I do get asked a lot. I don't know. You stumped me there. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. That's good. Always trying to stump people once.
Yeah.
it's a power dynamic thing. I want to make sure. No.
Yeah. No. I feel like I've been asked every question under the sun. I feel like more of that will happen I think we've got a few years ahead of us, and I think people are going to be like, how the fuck did you guys do that? I think the questions are going to come.
Oh, so good. I think about that a little bit. It's like you put yourself in the future of like 5 years and you're like imagining getting to tell the story of how you like formulating the story along the way. So cool. Have you, you know, something I've wrestled with as of late is the friends that you have around you, as much as you love them, sometimes are on a very different path and they go through very different challenges. And so there comes this time where, you know, it's like the people, you know, whether they be in your field or your business or whatever, you have more to relate with them. Have you had to go through that journey like in your kind of personal and social life to get you to a different place? Yeah, I mean,
I've lost quite a few friends along the journey, and, you know, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, and it's not a get out of my life thing. It's just, you know, it's gradual. You stop having things in common, and like the conversations get a little bit more bleak. And then I meet a lot of new people. I've met a lot of new people along the journey that are business owners, and, you know, and we can have these like intellectual conversations with and get inspired by each other. And, you know, I love that. And, you know, I've still got like a few really, really good friends that'll be my friends forever. But definitely getting rid of some people out of my life was a good decision. And, you know, it's and I tell people like it's okay to evolve and go out of friendships. And, you know, I'd rather 5 amazing friends than like 15, like, hi, bye, how's the weather?
100%. And the reason I ask that is because, you know, I think that's part of a lot of people's challenges with like taking that leap is who they surround themselves with, or even like who they find they're getting feedback from. You know, one of the things I highly suggest for people is when you're starting a new business or product, where you get the signals to tell you this is a good idea or a bad idea is really important. And often people will go to like friends and family. And realizing that, you know, friends and family, there's probably 2 paths that's going to happen. Path 1 is they don't want to see you hurt. And so they say to you like, are you sure? You know, are you sure you want to do that? Like, you got such a good job. You know, and part 2 is like, they give you a false signal, which is, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. Oh, you are amazing. And then you're like, great, I'm going to start my business. Yeah. Where it's like, it's actually better to go, just park all of that and go, get those signals from the market, because that market is going to be unbiased. The market is brutal. It will tell you with its wallet if it likes you or not, and it likes your product. And so, yeah, that's one of the little challenges along that journey.
I didn't ask friends for feedback. I just showed them when I had the product and they loved the smell. My dad was the only one that said I was a fucking idiot and not to do it. But he bites his words now. But yeah, I mean, I've got a friend, my best friend, and she's working on a product at the moment, and she came over to my house a couple of weeks ago, almost in a panic attack, worrying about doing it. And I just said, B, why the fuck are you worried? Like, it's an amazing product. You, at the very worst, you may lose $20,000, $30,000, but you can sell that product and make your money back. And if it fails, it fails. Don't worry about it. You're very smart. She's a lawyer. She's got a really good job. And then after that, she's now so excited to do it again. And I was like, just stop doubting yourself. But I think, she's coming to someone that does have the experience. I think I wouldn't just go and do that to, my friend that, I don't know, is a receptionist or something like that. Nothing against that, but, someone with that's done it before, I guess. And yeah, and it's like, I think it's like to what you're saying, it's what's that saying? Seek advice, but don't take it all in or something like that. Like listen, but don't listen to all of it.
Yeah, use like little bits and pieces from multiple to 100%. 100%. So let's play an experiment, Raquel. It's 40 years from now. You're sitting on a couch. You're sipping an English breakfast tea, and you're reflecting on the incredible life that you've had. What are you thinking about?
I want to be in a beautiful home. I want my children there with their children. I want to be sitting next to Adam. And I just want to be happy, and I want no regrets. I just want to be fulfilled. I want my family to be happy and healthy, and have heaps of really good cars. I love cars.
Yes.
The one materialistic thing that I really love. But no, I want happiness, and I just want to be fulfilled, and I want to look back on my life and just be really proud. And I want to have helped a lot of people along the way. I'm a big helper. I like helping people.
What's the impact you want to make on the world?
Oh, I want to save the world. The world sucks. It sucks out there. I mean, we're lucky here, but yeah, I want to, I want to do as much as I can to, children just break my heart when I hear stories and see things on social media. And, I won't die happy if I have an adopted child. I really want to help foster children. Like we just did this big toy drive with Who Was Elijah for Christmas. And I was in Bonds, and I won't cry now, but I was in Bonds and I'm picking off size 000 clothes for children that have been left at the hospital. I'm just it fucking breaks my heart. So I really care about that. So I want to help keep doing that for the rest of my life. Just build a big farm and have all the children come live with me.
That's the cutest and most heartbreaking thing I've ever heard. I as you shared that, it's taken me the moment. I don't think you can never quite describe the feeling of once you have a child. And then you hear about those things outside, and it just hits you that much harder. It's stunning. So yeah, it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, that was a bit deep.
No. That's what this therapy session's all about. And is there anything that's getting in the way of that for you?
No, I just need more money, more help. Yeah.
I love it. Amazing, Raquel Bouris. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.